trade in coal from Newcastle came to a complete halt. Fuel prices soon soared. The city shivered on. Yet there was no sense of doom. Having endured virulent plague and a devastating fire in recent years, the capital met the latest crisis with a mixture of bravery and resignation. At a time of suffering, it also found a new source of pleasure. They held a frost fair. "It's wonderful!" exclaimed Susan Cheever, clapping her gloved hands together. "I've never been to a frost fair before." "No more have I," said Christopher Redmayne, gazing around in amazement. 100 architects could not effect such a transformation. Mother Nature has redesigned the whole city. In place of a river, we have the widest street in Europe. Our pond freezes every year, and so does the stream at the bottom of our garden. But I never thought that a river as broad and eager as the Thames would turn to ice, still less that a fair could be set on its back. That is to blame," he explained, pointing to the huge bridge that spanned the river. "The piers that support it are set into starlings that restrict the flow of water. Above the bridge, as you see, it freezes more thoroughly." He smiled at her. "Shall we test it?" Susan laughed. "Everyone else has done so. Then we must not be left out." They were standing on the northern bank of the river, midway between London Bridge and the Tower. To keep out the sharp pinch of winter, Susan was wearing a long coat that all but brushed her ankles, and a bonnet that protected her head and ears. A woolen scarf at the neck added both warmth and decoration. Enough of her face could be seen to remind her companion how beautiful she was. The sparkle in her eyes and the softness in her voice were a constant delight to him. He escorted her to the stone steps. "Take my arm," he offered. "The stairs are slippery." "Thank you. Descend with care." "I shall," she promised. Arm in arm, they went slowly down the steps, and Christopher enjoyed every moment of their proximity. They had known each other long enough to dispense with some of the formalities, but too short a time for him to take any real liberties. An aspiring young architect, Christopher was helping to rebuild the city after the ravages of the Great Fire, and one of the most appealing commissions that had come his way was a contract to design a townhouse for Sir Julius Cheever, elected to Parliament to represent the county of Northamptonshire. Sir Julius was a truculent man by nature, and not always easy company, but his daughter knew exactly how to handle him. During the building of the house, her friendship with its architect had steadily developed, and he was thrilled that she took every excuse to quit her home in the Midlands so that she could visit the capital. The affection between them was unspoken, but no less real for that. "Well," he said, as they stepped onto the ice, "here we are." She tapped a foot. "It feels so solid. There's talk of a thaw, but I've not seen a sign of it." He released her arm. "When you return home, you'll be able to boast that you achieved a true miracle." "A miracle?" "You walked on water. Some people are doing much more than that. Let's take a closer look at them." Wanting her to take his arm again, Christopher contented himself with the merest touch of her back as his palm eased her forward. Like her, he wore his winter attire, a long blue coat and a wide-brimmed hat keeping the wind at bay. He was tall, slim, and well-favoured, with an open face that glowed with intelligence. Peeping out from beneath his hat was curly brown hair with a reddish tinge. As they strolled towards the fair, they made a handsome couple, their reflections walking ahead of them in the ice. Christopher looked down to study her moving portrait, but Susan only had eyes for the fair itself. "Half of the city must be here," she observed. "Can you think of a better place to be?" She pointed her finger. "What's that they're roasting?" "An ox, I think," he said, staring across at the spit. "And I fancy we'll see a pig or two being turned over a brazier as well. Warm meat sells well on cold days." "Will the fire not melt the ice?" "It appears not." "Another miracle." "You'll have much to tell them in Northamptonshire." "I plan to linger here for a while first," she said, turning to him with a smile. He met her gaze. "Call on me for anything."